Good evening, everyone. Tonight, Steve travels to Big Cedar Lodge. Scotty brings home the gold, and we'll get back into a little bit of PGA action. Welcome to the Tavern. Good evening, everyone. We listened to your request.
How we doing?
And we got rid of the dead weight.
Yes. You know, it's kind of nice.
It is.
We're not talking over everybody.
No, we can get a word in edgewise here. Tonight, Steve is traveling back. He went on the road on assignments and did an interview in person this week that we're going to get into.
Would we call that on assignment or Steve just doing Steve things?
It sounds better on assignment. It sounds classier, but it's really just Steve doing Steve things.
When has Steve ever been classy?
So I'm trying. It's the show. I'm looking out for the show, Dave. It's not really for Steve's classiness that I'm looking out for. But how was your weekend? Let's start off with that.
The weekend was good. It's we're coming up to harvest time in the vineyard, so shameless plug.
Nice.
But yeah, we'll. But a lot of Olympic watching this weekend. So
that's what I did too,
and had to work a wedding. So
okay,
yeah, it's still wedding season up here. So yeah,
it's true. It's not snowing yet. It's as long as
not
get
yet.
To the wedding. It's wedding season. So,
but I tell you what, it was 94 degrees yesterday. The high today was 67.
That's the Midwest for you. It's one day it's in the 90s and the next day it's in the 30s. So you never know with this crazy weather here. It's why we can play golf sometimes in February.
Yeah, or December.
It is. I'm going to make a shameless plug. I'm drinking Barkeep vodka tonight. My buddies at St. Elmo's and Barkeep Distilling, they just released Barkeep vodka. So if you get a chance, go give that a try out there.
Where can you find that?
Total Wine has it. It's at Total Wine, so I believe I know it's just in Indiana right now, but I believe it'll branch out hopefully soon. So ask your local Total Wine if you can get that. And then I think Hy-Vee might have it later on, so you might be able to get it out in Iowa too. So, but I did the same thing.
Like when I try and get Hooten and Young, I just ask my friendly neighborhood spirits manager, "Hey, order me a bottle of this, please."
There you go. See. This weekend I did a lot of the same that you did, except I didn't do weddings, just watch the Olympics, and we're gonna get into that in first round here in just a minute. But my family was at the Olympics, so I've been jealous listening, living vicariously.
They were at golf, weren't they?
My dad and brother went to golf on Sunday. They were there on Sunday for the gold. So what are you watching right now, man? I see a Phillies game.
Women's volleyball.
Oh, okay, well, you do got the Olympics on right now too.
Yes,
I already.
The Phillies are the Phillies are horrible right now. So
I can't. I can't tell you what's happening.
You're to have to let him in.
I don't have to let him in. I don't have to do anything. He just got back from the airport. He needs to go see his family. He needs to get set up first. Then we'll let him in. So. I'm gonna just keep doing it. It's more fun now. All right. Well, I guess we'll let you in.
There we go.
On your a camera from the 80s, it looks like.
Oh, I need to change my settings. Hold on.
You have no high definition. See, I knew you weren't set up. You just drove back from the airport. We already told people what you did this weekend. While you're setting that up, we're gonna get into first round. Well, obviously, first round this week. We all saw it. That looks a lot better, Steve, by the way.
Yeah.
Scotty for the gold.
What a comeback.
Yeah.
What
is that? More on Scotty or more on Jon Rahm?
Combination of both, I think. I think it was a combination of Scotty got back to form. I think Scotty is used to being a dad now, and he got back to his A game again. You saw the Scotty you saw at the Masters. You saw the Scotty that you saw at Harbor Town. Once again, he finished out on Sunday, and that's what he's been doing all year. He's been just up in the top and then closes out on the weekend. But part of that is to Rahm falling apart. Xander falling apart.
Can I just say it so we can get it out of the way? Maybe if they played 72 holes on lives, Rahm
just move on. No.
Somebody had to say it. I mean, really?
No one has to say it. He was good. Yeah, but he was good for the first 9. It was the back 9 that got him.
Yeah.
I mean, Greg Norman, shades of his boss collapsing at Augusta. It
is what it is. But I think that he just lost it. I mean, it was his to win. When you were watching the front 9, you thought, oh, if he keeps playing like this, and then all of a sudden it just took a turn. Like
it was member guest Sunday, and we'd gone to the club. Steve's group, they were in a different flight and they teed off before us. And so I was like, well, I'm going to go and just sit and watch golf before I even touch my clubs until 9 o'clock, because we didn't tee off till 9:50. We had to be there for Steve's group was out at 9. And so I was like, all right. And I just sat in the clubhouse and I was like, holy crap, Jon Rahm is just running away. And she's going to run away and hide with this thing. And then he didn't. And I was like, I had it on my phone, literally sitting in the cart, listening to it on my Desert Fox golf speaker. Shameless plug for Scott there. And all of a sudden you were like, what is going on?
But I even think, like, I'm gonna pull up Chad's comment here. And Chad, welcome back. And final round of 62. He's got a point there. That is unbelievable.
Oh,
so it's more to
shoot
Scotty
62 on Sunday.
You should win.
You should win.
He did. Yeah. I mean, he had a chance to shoot 61. He got the course record at 62.
Tied it. Yep.
Yeah. So it's an unbelievable feat. But even better than that, the medal ceremony. My wife and I have been talking. They haven't shown a lot of the medal ceremonies, but the Golf Channel, who was airing this, and on Peacock, they showed the medal ceremony. And I was almost brought to tears with Scotty singing along to our national anthem, then crying towards the end of it. Like, some of the comments that I saw this week were hilarious. Like, thank God Scotty finally got paid his $39,000. Like, thank God he got a big check for playing golf that he hasn't gotten in a while. I thought that was a funny comment. And that someone said, oh, yeah, but he doesn't get any FedEx Cup points for this. So what does it matter? But that's what I love about the Olympics is they play for the love of the game. And that's what most of us play for. And it showed that you go out there and you are playing not for millions of dollars, not for live money, as you've brought up, Steve. You're playing for your country and to win that medal. And that was
I think Xander said it. I think Xander said it best. He goes, even though I didn't win, USA won today. And that's what mattered.
Oh yeah. It would have been nice. I mean, because I picked Xander. He was doing well, but to see him kind of defend his medal, because up to that point, he would have been the 3rd or 4th person to defend their medal at this Olympics. Mm-hmm. The shot putter did it. And I forget who the other 2 or 1 or 2 were that did it.
Katie Ledecky.
Oh, Ledecky did it. That's right. It was Ledecky.
Katie Ledecky.
The shot putter.
And Katie Ledecky. That Xander would have been the 3rd to do it. Like, that's tough. Like, but he was in there too. He had a chance, but once again with Rahm, that back 9, that group on the back 9, they just struggled coming home.
Yeah, Xander shooting a final round 73 was not.
I gotta give the final. Tommy Fleetwood went and won the silver. I mean, yes, he made a bogey on 17. But I think that Fleetwood himself had a great chance to really seize the day. But
Tommy Fleetwood did Tommy Fleetwood things.
Correct.
Yeah, Tommy Fleetwood played well on a European course, and that's what Tommy Fleetwood does.
Like that's what I thought the whole time. Like
I can't pick him on an American course. I should have picked him for the Olympics.
But that's what I was hoping. I was hoping Tommy would do well, and I'm glad he got silver because I'm glad my national bias comes in here, and I'm glad an American won. And just to continue our national pride of we won all the majors, and now we've won this, and we better win the Ryder Cup next year.
We should win the President's Cup pretty easily.
Yeah, it's
that comment. Throw that one out. Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah. Chad, you're 100% true on that.
Yeah. You know what? And I understand why they do what they do in Korea. I worry that Tom Kim, he's going to have to go and serve his time, and then will he be Tom Kim when he comes back is the scary thought.
Yeah.
Because golf is better with Tom Kim.
Oh, 100%.
100%. It's better with Tom Kim.
I respect that you have to do that. And I find it interesting that if he won a medal, he didn't have to do that. Like,
correct.
A medal, a major, or the Pan Am Games?
No,
it's just a medal.
No, the major's not. It's just a medal or gold in the Asian Games, the Asian American Games.
Yeah.
Or the Asian
Games. I thought I read if he had won a major that he'd be exempt from service.
Okay. No.
Yeah, but that was it was interesting. Drinking is better with Steve.
I mean, it is.
And this is good. Tom Kim, fun he has with golf. That is true. Tom Kim is it is great to see him out there and the way he plays and has fun. That's the way with everybody. That's what it was so nice about. Like, I mean, you saw Scotty
Tom Kim has till he's 28. Yeah, he's only 22. Yeah. He has until 28. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, Chad is just coming in with all of it tonight. I'm loving this, Chad.
Thanks, Chad.
Yeah. But I think because Whit and I were talking about that, I thought I read that if he wins a major before he turns 28, he gets exempt from that service with the Pan Asian Games or any Olympic medal.
Right.
So he's going to go to the Winter Olympics and try to win something there.
Sure.
Bobsledding.
The golf bobsledding team, the national. There you go. All right.
Yeah.
But overall, I love
feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme.
I love seeing them take photos and Scotty trying to bring everyone in that won a medal there, and just the pride everyone has. If you're just playing for your country, this was sports at its purest form, is what you see at the Olympics here. I know you have like the dream teams and all that, and more professional athletes in there. The great thing about that is it hasn't changed anything. No. It hasn't changed that. They're still playing for pride. They're still playing for their country, and that's why they're playing there. And that's the best thing about the Olympic Games. All right. With that, what do you say we get into happy hour?
Ooh, good one.
I want to be here, right? Okay.
All right, Steve, I'll let you introduce this and I'll start the video for you.
Okay, cool. I came in hot tonight because I was coming back in from member guest weekend in Fayetteville, Arkansas. I was supposed to fly back in last night, and Mother Nature, also known as Tropical Storm or Hurricane Debbie, put a damper on me getting back yesterday. But while we were gone, I was out of town with a good friend of the Tavern, Steve Cox, and we flew in Wednesday, and Thursday morning we got up and drove to Big Cedar Lodge, and we got to play Paynes Valley. And I've got to tell you, there's some stuff coming, and we'll talk about it after. But we got to do an interview and we got to sit down with Matt McQuery from Paynes Valley, from Big Cedar, and talk about not only what Paynes Valley has to offer, but everything around Big Cedar. So this interview kind of all encompasses Big Cedar. It is pre-recorded. It's only about 16 minutes. It actually was more questions than we typically normally ask. But Matt gave some great insight. They have something new coming at Big Cedar, and I'll get into that in a little bit. I wish I had chance. I walked through the door 10 minutes before we went live here, was trying to set the studio up tonight. So, but they have such an amazing facility at Big Cedar. I know we've seen it on Capital One's The Match. Paynes Valley opens with a downhill par 4. And the golf course just gets amazing from there on out, including the 19th hole. I posted a video of me playing 19 on our TikTok account and on our Instagram account. It is quite the undertaking, and I do want to get into, after we get through the video, I want to talk a little bit about Paynes Valley and the golf course, because if you've never been there, it's a spot. I know, Chad, you said you just got back from Kohler. Hope you had an awesome time there. But Big Cedar is one of those great destinations that not only can you go on a guy's buddies trip, but you can take your family and have a great time there with everything they have to offer in Branson. So, Greg, let's go ahead and roll the video, and then we'll kind of recap it afterwards. Hey, everybody, it's Steve, and I'm back here, and I am super excited about what we're about to do. Matt McQuery, PGA, we're at Big Cedar Lodge. Kind of excited about this interview. Kind of excited we're playing later today. But Matt, Big Cedar is a full-service resort. I mean, you have everything going on here. So can we start just by going into what you guys have to offer here at Big Cedar?
Yeah, Big Cedar's got a kind of interesting story because it didn't start as a golf resort. Our owner and founder, Johnny Morris, who's also the owner and founder of Bass Pro Shops, purchased the resort in the 80s. And at that time, it was really a lakefront destination, so water sports and fishing. But kind of his love for the outdoors and conservation, the resort has grown a lot in different activities, from shooting, there's cave and nature trails, there's a 10,000 acre nature preserve, and just most recently, golf has really exploded. So the golf side of things actually started in the 90s. Top of the Rock was our first golf course. A 9-hole par 3 course was our first golf course, which is kind of interesting because most people start with a full 18. But the first golf course was Top of the Rock. And then Buffalo Ridge opened in 2014. After that, 2017 Mountaintop opened, 2019 Ozarks National opened, 2020 Paynes Valley opened, and there's more being built now. So golf has exploded. But even outside of the golf sphere at Big Cedar, there's a ton to do. So I kind of like to say we're the type of resort that you could come and bring a group of 16 golf buddies and have a great time and do nothing but play golf. Or you could bring kind of a bachelor party of mixed backgrounds, and half the guys like to golf, half the guys don't. Everyone's going to find something to do and have fun. There's no shortage of activities to do. As long as you like doing them outside, there's something for you at Big Cedar.
Awesome. Now, of course, being the golfing dads, we do want to focus on the golf aspect of Big Cedar here. But let's first dive into everything else Big Cedar has to offer. So you've got a wedding chapel.
4, actually.
4 wedding chapels.
Yes.
Hunting and fishing, cavern tours. There's an aquarium here. There's so much to do here at Big Cedar. It's not just a golf destination. You can almost have a family vacation destination out of this as well.
Yeah, it's actually a really good spot to bring the wife and kids and not feel guilty about sneaking out in the morning to go play 18 early. We've got several pools, awesome cabanas at the pool too. So if you're someone that likes to park at the pool for the afternoon, they've got these private cabanas you can rent out, have food service and everything there. There's a family fun center called Fun Mountain. Mm-hmm. It's a great on a rainy day too, because it's got bowling alleys, golf simulators, arcades, but also has go-karts. It's got bumper cars. It's got a ton of fun stuff to do, as well as a sports bar. So if you're watching Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football or something after a game, it's a great spot to catch
we may go there after our round of golf today.
There you go. There you go. Watch the Olympics or something.
Yeah.
Here. But there's just so much to do. And there's also a really nice spa. Cedar Creek Spa has a beautiful grotto and lots of different services there. So, I mean, like I said, golf has kind of been an add-on, but the golf that was added on was world-class. Even though it sounds like a secondary thing, like we started as a lakefront wilderness resort and we added golf, the golf that was added has been nothing short of amazing. The designers that have come in and kind of Mr. Morris's visual touch of making them, into nature golf links is the best way to describe it.
I have to say, driving in here today and living in Florida, this is scenery that I'm not used to. So I'm really excited for later today. So, and like I said, being from Florida, we have alligators on the golf course. Kind of fun when you're not used to it. You guys have buffalo on the golf course.
Buffalo Ridge has bison right on the golf course. So we also have a 10,000 acre nature preserve. I mentioned Dogwood Canyon. Mm-hmm. There we have herds of elk, longhorn steer, bison as well. But on Buffalo Ridge, on your opening tee shot, to the left side is a buffalo pin, and there's actually a white bison there as well. So there's one bison that stands out because it's about as wide as it could be.
We might have to go get a picture of that later before we leave here today.
Yeah, you can see the first tee. It's a great spot to check out there. But even outside of that, we've got, there's deer, turkey, pheasant, quail. There's all sorts of native kind of Ozarks wildlife around, because all of our golf courses are also Audubon certified sanctuaries, which is kind of envisioned with Mr. Morris's commitment to conservation. To have this certification, you basically have to have agronomic practices and environmental practices that are good for the land, as it would be, almost as if the golf course wasn't there. So using almost entirely, or at least mostly, organic fertilizer, making sure you're cleaning your equipment so there's not oil runoff on the greens, maintaining kind of native areas, especially if you play Ozarks National. There's a ton of native grasslands around that course, which just helps support the native habitat for game and birds, and the streams are also stocked as well, which is kind of cool to see.
So I've got some kids. They love to putt. They love to get on the putting green and putt. And one of my favorite things to do when I get to a golf resort, and I've been to a few. I've checked Stream Song, Sea Island, Pinehurst. They all have some pretty cool putting courses. Walking in after we parked our cart today, you guys have the Tom Watson putting course here, right at the golf course. Can you talk about the putting course that you have here and kind of what, good warm up? What are we talking about here?
It's actually our second rendition of the putting course. The first one was at Top of the Rock in 2013. It's 2015, sorry, a sinkhole opened up underneath that putting course.
Yep.
So I think we've
all seen the pictures of that.
And that's grown a lot since. So the day it happened, it was just a small cave in on the green, but now it's been dug out and it's a huge hole in the ground. It's built by Missouri native Tom Watson, who's just up the road, just across the road to Kansas City. It's just a fun place to come in. It's like mini golf on real grass. It's got huge slopes and tiers to it. The course changes every day. They change the routing, so there's different holes and placements. So if you're here for 4 days, you play 4 times, you're not going to have the same experience on there. But it's a good practice, because honestly, putting is the spot you can probably improve on strokes the quickest for any amateur. So getting practice on that sort of green where they're extremely challenging putts. They're all par 3s on a putting course. So it's just good practice to get warmed up. You got a really good view of the Ozark Mountains in all directions because it's at the mountaintop clubhouse. So you kind of have a 360 view of the Ozark Mountains. You can see into Arkansas in the south, and you can see far north of Branson from there as well. So pretty spot to grab a drink and putt with some friends in the evening. Yeah, no, definitely. You guys, you talk about Top of the Rock. You guys hosted a Champions Tour event there at one point. Can you talk about the par 3 course and how truly amazing? I mean, obviously, if it's hosted a Champions Tour event on a par 3 course, it's pretty impressive. So. Top of the Rock is a one-of-a-kind par 3 course. A lot of people think when you have a par 3 course or a short course, it's more of a pitch and putt, grab 3 wedges and a putter and go. But both of our par 3 courses, actually, you need your full bag. There's shots over 200 yards, and the shots vary a lot. So you get to use most, if not all, of your irons throughout the round, which is a lot of fun. Top of the Rock specifically is a very kind of manicured ground, almost like the Augusta par 3. Big white rounded bunkers, really clean edges, lots of water features. There's a true island green on number 6. It's also located at Top of the Rock, which is a little bit separated from the other golf courses, but on that property, there's 3 restaurants. There's a cave and nature trail. There's a history museum. So even included in that par 3 course, there's a lot to do and see on that property as well. But between the 2 par 3 courses, they're also very different. Top of the Rock is much more about the first shot. There's a lot of trouble off the tee. There's water, there's bunker, there's out of bounds. So it's really about hitting the green and getting there. Where Mountaintop is just a big open playing field. There's no forced carries. There are bunkers, but there's really no out of bounds as much to worry about. So you could bring a 5-year-old there and they could skip the ball the whole way up there and they'd be safe. Whereas Top of the Rock, you really need to get the ball in the air. But at Mountaintop, it has a lot more undulated greens, harder putting greens. So the short game really comes into play more Mountaintop. So 2 really good par 3s. They have a different dichotomy when you play them and very different looks. Top of the Rock is very manicured. There's flowers and trees and shrubbery that's all maintained. Mountaintop looks much more rustic with native grasslands kind of lining the greens, but it's all one big zoysia kind of fairway with bent grass greens. So just different looks, different feels, different playing styles between the 2 par 3 courses.
And we got here today. There's some construction going on. You got something coming. Can you talk about that?
We do have another par 3 course in the works. You can see it being built when you're playing Paynes Valley or at the Mountaintop Clubhouse. I'm hoping to get that up and online the next year, but we'll kind of have more coming out about that in the future. But it's going to be something else. It's going to be different from our other 2 par 3s, if that can even happen again to go a third direction. But another just good offering for resort guests. And par 3 courses have gotten so popular just because, there was a time when I would do 36 4 days straight and be okay with that with my body. But after one day of that, my back's killing me. So I think most golfers find that 18 is not enough, but 36 is too much. So having that, 18-hole round and then follow up with a par 3 course and you're set. And that's about the perfect amount of golf for a day.
No, awesome. Super excited. Now, Buffalo Ridge, arguably it's one of the best courses in Missouri here in the state. Today you're hosting an AJGA event out there. Can you talk about the golf course and what it has to offer people?
Yeah, so I think Buffalo Ridge gets slept on quite a bit just because the 2 newer courses were one built by Core and Crenshaw, which are probably one of the most renowned architects in the game, and then the other course being built by Tiger Woods. If you haven't heard of him, you're crazy. But so I think Buffalo Ridge kind of gets slept on just because it's kind of the older course or seen as the original one, but it's a great Tom Fazio course. Kind of in that Tom Fazio design, there's a lot of really cool water features and really flashy bunkering off the tee and around the green. I kind of view Buffalo Ridge as a second shot course. The fairways are really inviting and large, especially the first opening tee shot. It's a downhill par 5. It's a huge open green, so it's pretty safe to hit off the tee. But on your approach shots there, you have a lot more danger that comes into play, either deep bunkers, kind of thick rough, water and creek around the green. So there's a lot more that goes into your second shot at that course. Also on that course, we have our bison. We have a couple caves and waterfalls. As you're driving around that course, you're seeing just a lot of pretty kind of Ozarks landscape on that facility as well.
Awesome. Now, we're a little later today. We're playing Paynes Valley, the first public golf course that Tiger Woods obviously designed. The course has been on Capital One The Match, and it's got amazing views driving in. You can see across the golf course. It looks awesome. But it's one of the few golf courses that has a 19th hole on it. And it doesn't involve just sitting at a bar. Yeah. Can you, how did that 19th hole come about?
So that is all kind of Johnny Morris's brainchild. Tiger did the 18 holes, and Johnny wanted to make kind of this big crescendo at the end after the round, having a par 3 course. So it went through a couple renditions. There was one time where it was, I think, like a 200-yard long, just a really long par 3. And then he wanted to make the green more challenging. And as it got more challenging, it got shorter. But ultimately, as they kind of worked with this rockscape that you'll see on the 19th hole, they kind of found this spot for a perfect little island green with the waterfall behind it. So it was really a surprise for Tiger when he came back for one of his site visits. John had started shaping and kind of drawn out what it's going to look like and surprised him with it. And he was all for it. So, I mean, the Tiger Woods did the first 18, but then Johnny stepped in and kind of added this 19th hole. And the golf course itself is awesome. It's just a big ballpark. It's a giant course, huge fairways. The average golf course is around 100 acres of kind of fairway turf grass. Paynes Valley alone has over 200 acres of just fairway grass. So it's one of those courses you're going to be really safe off the tee and probably safe going to the greens because the green surrounds also have zoysia. There's not a lot of rough that comes up to the collar of the greens, but the greens themselves have a lot of character. So it makes the course really playable. You can bring a high handicap out there and they're probably not going to lose a lot of golf balls. But if you bring in a scratch player out there that wants to score, putting's going to have to be on and their approach angle is going to have to be on. Because you'll see, even on the first hole, there's some spots depending on where the pin is, that if you are on the wrong side of the green, you have a downhill putt that you might not be able to stop. So it's fun and inviting because you can bring juniors, you can bring high handicappers out there. They're going to get the ball around just fine, not in too much trouble. But when you bring those better players, they really focus on their scoring and their short game to post a good score.
Dave, did you hear that? You can actually play this golf course too, even with your handicap. So we'll, it'll be good for Dave. Dave, you should come here. So I've got to ask, 19th hole, the par 3, how many hole-in-ones?
I think we're up to like 17 at this point.
17.
I checked it the other week. It's getting up. It's less than you would think it would be with as many rounds as kind of go through there, and as not as short as the hole is, but from the back tees, it's about 135 to 140 and playing a little downhill. So maybe around 125. You kind of assume you'd have more, but I think the pressure of the moment gets to people too, because it is kind of this build up to it.
Yeah.
And then when you're staying on the tee, it's your one shot at it, at trying to get a hole in one or hit the green, let alone make it in the hole. So I think players get distracted by the beauty, by the pressure. It just, you kind of think there'd be more at this point.
Nice. And I'm going to ask, you guys do anything special for a hole in one if somebody makes a hole in one on 19?
You do. You get to join the 19th hole club. So that includes kind of a secret prize package for what you get in that, but you also get invited back to special events. And the biggest thing is you get a $1,000 gift card to the resort, but some other prize packages from Tiger Woods, from TaylorMade. So there's some other stuff included if you were able to get a true hole in one.
Nice.
Now dropping the ball again, that doesn't count. If a par 3 hole in one doesn't
I think all of our wives would like that $1,000 gift card to the resort.
Yeah, it's good at the resort. It's good at all Bass Pros. It's good across the nation. So it's good.
If someone was coming up here, staying at Big Cedar, staying on property, what's the one thing you would tell them not to miss out on?
I mean, it depends on what that person's trying to do. I would say if you're bringing a family, it's probably Dogwood Canyon, just because it's such a little slice of Ozarks topography to check out. There's running streams with trout fishing. There's hiking, there's biking, there's horseback riding, tram rides. There's a lot to do as a family. If you're a foodie person, I'd say it's eating at Warman House, which is kind of our French bistro restaurant. But as far as a buddies group, I'd say the thing you don't want to miss out is the sunset ceremony on top of the rock. If you go down to Buffalo Bar, right at sunset every night, we've got a bagpiper that plays, and they shoot off a Civil War era cannon over the lake. So it's really cool to see. And the sunset at that spot's hard to beat. So it's a good spot to either kick off the trip and kind of set the mood for the trip, or end the trip on kind of a high note with that sunset ceremony.
Well, that's awesome. Well, Matt, thank you for joining us today. Really appreciate it. Appreciate the time today. We're excited about this afternoon. Look forward to this, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Really happy to have me. Hope you guys have fun today.
Thank you.
All right.
So that was obviously recorded before we played.
What was it like to play it?
I'd say this. He's right talking about wide fairways. Like, you can't miss a fairway there. They're massive. I think I missed 3
I
the
can
whole
miss
day.
a fairway.
You could.
We know you've missed the biggest one on the PGA Tour.
That's
the widest
true.
one.
The widest one.
Don't never say never.
The whole experience from when you get there, you pull up, get in your cart, you drive over. The clubhouse is very rustic. It has a really cool bar in the clubhouse, so we'll call it the 20th hole in the clubhouse, with like trees on all 4 corners of the bar and just a really cool look. The golf course opens, like I said, downhill par 3, wide open fairway. You just take driver and smoke it down there as far as you can. Second hole is downhill par 3. You literally have this golf course that as you enter into the golf course, you literally just, every hole gets more exciting, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Third hole is like, we played the blended tees, and the blended tees were a good test. They weren't, I probably could have played it all the way. I could have played the blues. There was zero chance I was going to play the Tiger tees. We played the blue and white blended, and it really sets you up for a fun round of golf. The halfway house there is called the Crow's Nest. I don't know if you've ever heard of something called the Crow's Nest before. I'm surprised, honestly. We had a conversation, surprisingly, that Augusta doesn't have the Crow's Nest trademarked. So your food is all included when you get there. When you get to the halfway house, it's so they have bison dogs for you, and a bunch of snacks. Yeah, bison dog was phenomenal.
I'm about to say, how was the bison dog? I got to know that, because that sounds phenomenal.
Yeah,
ridiculously good. Like, I'm going to be honest, Probably second best hot dog I've ever had at a golf course.
What's the first?
The pimento cheese dog at Tobacco.
Okay. All right.
With the melted pimento cheese on it is ridiculous. Like that thing rates up there for me as like the best hot dog ever.
Steve, you would swim in pimento cheese if you had a chance.
I mean, I do love some good pimento cheese. It's not gonna lie. But the funny part about you get to it after 7, and then you play 8 and 9, and you get to the 10th tee, you can go back in there and get another one. And you're like, this is great. And so the golf course itself is just funny enough, we saw buffalo on the golf course. I posted a picture. I obviously wasn't in Florida anymore when we saw buffalo, and we were standing there, and I'm sitting in the cart with Steve, and we're sitting in the middle of 12th fairway, and I'm like, there's freaking buffalo there. And he's like, where? And I'm like, buffalo. And it was awesome. Like, again, for a guy in Florida who, yes, we see alligator all the time on the golf course, but when you see buffalo, like in the wild, you're like, is it real? Like, is it like Disney World with animatronics?
That's kind of fun when you have those interactions on a golf course that you don't see in everyday golf courses.
Right.
Yeah.
I will say, I think we were talking on the way back about the best hole in the golf course, and I think it's back to back. There's 2 holes, 5 and 6. 5 is a downhill par 5 that comes down, and you look back and you can see the waterfall coming down, and you just smoke driver out there and hit it as hard as you want to. You can get there in 2, but there's a pond left, and then you get to 6, and it's this par 3 with a kind of a peninsula green that sticks out. Obviously 19 is as an experience is a cool experience. I actually made the turn. I was 1 under on the front 9. And then I just found myself lost on the back 9, staring at the views and the vistas, and didn't even care what I shot on the back 9 because there's so many cool views on the back 9 of the golf course.
John Rahm the back 9.
I did. I shot 42 on the back 9.
Oh, so you play Dave golf? It's out there somewhere.
Yeah, I was just like, all right, cool. Like, where'd it go? Okay, cool. It was like 110 degrees with the heat index, and I didn't even care. Like, the water tasted great because it was cold, and that was what we were going with. But you get to 18, and the par 5 18th comes down, and there's a huge rock wall that comes in, and it's kind of the continuation of the rock wall that sits around 19. And when you get done with it and you play up alongside of that, and you kind of you get this like feeling sitting inside there as you're getting to 19, because there's the anticipation of 19 because you know what you're getting to. But you got this rock wall down from like 250 yards down. It's all rock wall to your right. And you're sitting there and you hit the shot and you get down there and you just start looking around and you're like, I feel small in the world compared to what is literally around me right now. And it's the coolest place I've ever been. And then you get done and there's this shelf coming off the rock wall and you literally throw your golf ball up. Everybody throws their golf ball up on this shelf of this like rock shelf. So there's all these golf balls sitting and you have to get your golf ball to stay up there. And then if I could have cut it, I didn't cut it right. I was going to be the smack of the week because when I got to the 19th tee, I'd forgotten that I had thrown my golf ball up on this rock wall, and I'd forgotten my golf ball when I went to peg it up. So that'll be next week's smack of the week. I'll just let you know that I'm going to make fun of myself because I get to the 19th tee without a golf ball. But no, it was you get to 19. There's actually a bar on 19 as well, and they sell their own merch on the 19th hole. And the t-shirt says I got wet on the 19th hole.
You bought one, right?
I did not actually. I
I
thought about it. I thought it was a little pricey, and it was like 100% cotton, and I'm like, when would I wear a 100% cotton t-shirt?
It's just for the story, man.
Yeah.
So all of us actually got paired up with a 16-year-old kid named Jake. And all of us hit the green on 19, and he actually made birdie. He rolled in the birdie putt first. And so he was working. We gave him some tips. He was working on trying to make his high school golf team.
Awesome.
So we had a good little chat. He and I did. And it's literally one of those places that you can. I feel like we need to have a Golfing Debts Tavern getaway there.
Oh, we will.
Because I feel like for us, it's a facility that you can do a lot from a family perspective with families, but you can also do a lot with just the guys. And the location is great. There's a lot of cool things to do there. It's a golf destination that, much like in Eric's on here and he understands this, Pinehurst is kind of in the middle of nowhere and is a great golf destination. Chad, you were at Kohler, which is kind of in the middle of nowhere as well and is a great golf destination. Big Cedar is in that same group. And I will say that I think that it's a place and it's a destination. It's got great golf. It's got a great facility for everywhere around there. And I feel like you could have a lot of fun on a guys' buddies trip between the par threes. I will tell you, he couldn't go into detail about it. I will tell you what I saw on the par three course that they're building. There's a sign out front, so I don't think I can't say. It's called Cliffhanger, is the name of the golf course. It is being built to be the hardest par three golf course in the planet. And when I tell you there's like volcano bunkers, my first thought when I saw one of these volcano bunkers was, I want to put Dave in there and see what he does.
Well, I think that's what we have to do is we have to make that, once that opens up, that needs to be our trip out there to kind of christen that course and have some fun, fun with that.
Like,
I chip out and get it on the green in two. So, what's your point?
It's literally, there's a hole that has, it looks like, and I didn't see this I saw it from afar.
Dave, virtual high five.
I saw it from Paynes Valley, but it looks like the green is about 4 yards wide and it's about 50 yards long.
Nice.
And like, you're just like, this is going to be impossible. And if you miss, it's literally on the side of the cliff. Like you can see in some of the pictures that I took, and I'll get them out and maybe we'll post some of those online. You can see literally just where they're building it on the cliff coming down. And it is going to be absolutely amazing. And I'm excited for what they're about to get. And I feel like I can't wait to go back.
Well, I think that's the big thing about a lot of these resorts, and thank you to Big Cedar Lodge for putting up with Steve this weekend.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate that.
But that's what it is. It's these places are not just for golfers; they're for families, and this is what you kind of talked about. There's a lot of stuff to do, and that's what makes a great golf resort. Is you have other stuff, especially for these guys' trips. Is you have a good bar, you have good golf, you have good par three, you have a good putting course. That's what we look for in a golf thing. But Big Cedar Lodge takes that to the next level with other things there. And like you said, it wasn't a golf course to start, and they've just added that on and made it that much more special.
No, it was. I've said all along.
We look at it from the perspective of, having lived in Hilton Head and, living in the tourist capital of the world in Orlando, there's golf, everywhere, but this is contained. You don't have to leave the property to go do, and and you don't need not to have having played Pinehurst or Tobacco. I assume that those two courses and resorts are very similar to that, but this
Pinehurst, yes, Tobacco, no.
Yeah, saying this was originally Bass Pro Shops and everything else. Golf is secondary there, and you build out and around it and let everybody have some fun.
Yeah, but here's the thing: golf is secondary there, but the golf that they've built is premium golf.
Oh yeah,
it's a premium golf destination, and I'm gonna say that I think that I had said going into this that the most scenic golf course and the most amazing view and vista golf course I'd ever played was Wolf Creek. And obviously we've all seen the views from Wolf Creek. Paynes Valley, because of the back nine, rivals Wolf Creek. And we joked out there, and if you're familiar with Trump golf courses, they're famous for their waterfalls. And I don't know. But here's the thing. Paynes Valley, I think, has more waterfalls than all the Trump golf courses combined.
Oh, probably
on the one golf course, and it's absolutely incredible. When you finish playing the 19th hole, you have a mile-long cart ride up through the mountain around it, and you just ride up, and you have waterfalls coming down with water running across the path, much like you would expect it to be with where that golf course is. Go ahead, Dave.
How close was Steve Cox to pushing you out of the golf cart on that mile-long ride back?
Good question. Good question.
It wasn't. No, because yeah, no. I'm gonna say that the golf course itself, 19, and I'll say this: the 19th hole is freaking amazing, right? Like, let's be real. Like, we've all seen pictures of it. We've all seen it played on TV. In person, it's even better.
And that's what I mean. We're talking about this with having Big Cedar Lodge on here. This is what makes a great destination golf area. Like Pinehurst has that. Tobacco has the views. Kapalua, when I played out of Kapalua was the same thing. You were just looking at, you're on the Hawaiian island. Like it's unbelievable. Like the views you're looking at. You're not on the ocean, but you're looking out at the ocean from a volcano basically the whole time. Like that's what makes these trips special. That's what makes it worth kind of a little bit more money to play these courses, because you're going to have this memory and those experiences. It's not like you need a camera there. You're going to have mental pictures the whole time. And that's why we love these things. And so if you're planning a golf vacation with your buddies, Big Cedar Lodge has to be on that list.
If you're not looking at a place like Big Cedar to do a buddies trip, or to do a family vacation, or to do like a group of families vacation where the guys are going to go play golf, the women have things to do, the kids have things to do. Branson is, and I don't want to take away from Big Cedar, but there's a lot of other golf in the area too. There's a lot of other great properties. There's a lot of great things to do. There's a great aquarium. There's like you can literally go to Branson and do shows and do dinner shows every night. I'll be honest with you, I kind of want to go back just to do the sunset thing that he talked about at Top of the Rock from the bar. That to me sounded absolutely amazing. We had a 2-hour car ride back, so we did not stay till sunset, but like it was one of those things that I'd love to
you
go.
And Steve Cox getting cozy at sunset. I could see that one.
Dave, knocking it out of the park.
I really want to go and grab an old fashioned and just sit and watch that sunset thing and just sit and enjoy the day.
Steve Cox.
I know. I was like, dude, you just set that one up. Like, I want to.
I know. I wasn't paying. I'm not paying attention to Dave. I'm not paying attention.
You got to say it like you got to say it like from you're from the Midwest. It's brand. You get it's
Branson, Missouri.
Yeah,
Missouri.
But
no, I would like to see us do. Maybe we do something. We need to come up with an idea. With like
I already got one. We'll talk about it. But
I think we've got an idea for something we need to do with that. So.
I think that we'll make that work.
We do have. I know I came in late, but I do have a smack of the week to show you here. So why don't we roll that?
Let's get into
roll that intro.
I will say this is a perfect. Eric's already ready for a 14-hour road trip, so
let's go, Eric. You're in. All right. So this week's Smack of the Week is in honor of our Olympic gold medal winner, Scotty Scheffler, and everybody wanting to do the Scotty Shuffle.
Like that's been the big thing. Everyone is trying to imitate that footwork. And every time I watch this guy swing a golf club, I don't know how he doesn't break both of his ankles.
Correct.
Like,
and how when you think about the technical aspect of the golf swing, and this guy's number 1 in the world, and it's not even close to number 2 with that golf swing.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into last call. We're back at the PGA this week. The Olympics will wrap
Wyndham.
up at the end of the week, which I'm disappointed.
Just in case you want to know, my pick for the women is Nelly this week.
Oh, it better be Nelly. I'm 100%
Right.
Nelly.
Let's freaking go, Nelly.
Let's go, Nelly. Let's do this. Let's sweep the men's and women's golf. Let's do this. Yeah. It'll be
Let's
go. Playing the same course. Go talk to Scotty and get some pointers. Like,
I'm hoping she got Scotty's yardage book with notes in it and just go.
Funny enough, I got other friends that were actually at the USA House watching the 1500 meter today. They were at the USA House. They had admission to that, and it was cool to kind of see that with all the other Olympic athletes. So
nice.
But yeah, let's go, Nelly. Let's bring home the sweep for the USA team in golf. And but Wyndham championship coming up this week, and
without Wyndham, can we just say
that's
Wyndham
what I'm saying? That's exactly
Wyndham without Wyndham. What are you doing?
Wyndham to win the Wyndham.
How are you not there, Wyndham?
Well, because he's coming back from Paris. Like I understand
really,
why he's not there.
He wouldn't play here either. I think that's fair.
He needs to. I mean, that should be. If my last name was the title sponsor of a tournament, I want to win that tournament.
What's his first name?
It's his first name.
So sorry. if any of my first or last name was that name, that's a good call. But that's
it's like winning the McMillan Mortgage Invitational.
Yeah, but I mean,
I've done
a blind ship can do
that. Hey, I do want to give a quick shout out. Truist picked up the title sponsorship of the Wells Fargo, of what was the Wells Fargo. So it is not the Truist, and it'll still be a signature event. So
I would like to give a shout out to Pitbull for picking up the sponsorship of Florida International
FIU Stadium.
Yeah,
honestly, when you think about
$1.2 million a year to sponsor dude, that's a baller move right there.
They host a bowl game there. Bowl game there, so it'll be at Pitbull Stadium. Like, let's go, Pitbull.
It's gotta be Mr. 305 Stadium. That's what you got to.
No, he said it's gonna be Pitbull Stadium.
I know, but you're missing out. Mr. 305 Stadium in Miami.
Right?
Let's go.
Yeah.
Last full field event on the PGA Tour before the playoffs this week. We'll move on from Pitbull. No Ricky Fowler this week.
Moves on from you.
No Ricky Fowler this week, and
so Dave can't pick him.
It was his only chance to get into the playoffs if he had showed up, which means he didn't play the last two events. So he was just like, I'm still exempt from my win from last year in Detroit, so I'm not going to play.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm going to tell you this. I was scrolling through the odds, and I get down to the bottom, and this is something I don't see very often. The last player in the field doesn't even have odds to win.
Oh, well, let's get into odds with Dave then. Let's just go right into it. Here we go.
Yeah.
Doesn't even have odds.
Doesn't even have odds to win. He has a top.
Is it the Monday qualifier?
His name is Raul Pereda. And JB Holmes is right above him at 2,500 to 1. So they're not even giving more. They're not even giving him 2,500 to 1 to win. They're it's just
2,500 or 25,000 to 1.
2,500.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the double check there. Yeah.
Okay.
So, like Steve said, it's not really a full field here, but we do have some pretty key players coming into this week, but nobody's really trying to run away with it. Sunjae Im coming in at 12 to 1, Siwoo Kim at 22, Billy Horschel at 22, Shane Lowry at 25, Brian Harmon at 25, Davis Thompson at 30, Christian Bianzanute at 30, Cam Young at 30.
You should have let me
whatever.
It's good. Let Dave back to his thing.
Okay.
Aaron Ray at 30. Steve's pick at 35 at Oshke, and Jordan Spieth, Cam Davis at 40 to 1.
Okay.
So
All right. Well,
our
Steve,
standings right now, our standings coming into the last few events, unless Greg is out, Greg has zero chance to come back and win.
even if you both missed the cut and
Even
I
if we
messed with the
both
standings
missed-
anyway.
Yes, you because the most you could get, you have 155 points right now. I guess if Steve and I took a negative 15 and you won every single week, you're at 155. Steve's at 231. I'm at 238.
Am I mathematically out? Let me just ask that question.
You're mathematically out. Yes.
All right.
All right, here we go.
I'm still gonna make picks. So I
Yes,
would pick
I know.
second because Steve picked the winner last week, and
Yes, and then
dropped
Xander finished.
below
Yeah.
Rory.
Yes. So
All right, Steve, who you
we
picking?
got Steve's pick.
I'm taking
Well, we
Akshay.
already did that.
Although Webb Simpson's wife is caddying for him this week. Dowd's caddying for him this week at the Wyndham.
Okay.
Yeah.
Greg.
Just because it doesn't matter for me, I am taking our Ryder Cup captain.
You know, I saw
Keegan.
that. I looked at that pick. I'll be honest with you.
I'm taking
Keegan's
Keegan.
coming in at 45-1.
There we go.
And I started typing mine in even before your pick there. I'm going Shane Lowry this week.
Dave, that was going to be my pick until I actually saw Keegan on the list.
I don't know that I
Yeah.
like Shane coming back from France though to play this week.
He's not sober enough yet, so he should be okay.
There we go.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
All right.
We need to
All
figure out how to get him as a guest in the tavern because I feel like he would drink with us.
Pretty sure he would.
Yeah, we need to figure that out.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, with
That's
that,
something we need to figure out.
great show, Steve. Thank you for slumming it at Big Cedar Lodge this week.
Yeah, it was tough. I will say we came in third member guest in our flight, and I may or may not have gotten a new golf bag out of my pro shop credit with my with coming in third this week. So
That's good. Nobody cares. All right. With that,
There's no video of you throwing it into a trash can, so
cheers, everybody.
cheers, everybody.
Don't forget to tip your bartender.
I'm really fortunate, man. I mean, having the opportunity to build something that's
It has gone viral on our TikTok. That somebody was commenting about playing Whistling Straits on 700